Let's start with the story of the weekend. Giggles is out and the LNP has won the Queensland state election. But it wasn't exactly a walkover for them like had been predicted a few months ago. They needed 47 seats to win, and by our count, they've secured 51. So it is a win, but it is hardly thumping. Labor has 33 seats, Katter's Australian Party has 3, the Greens has 1 and another has gone to an independent. Here was a bit of Premier-elect David Crisafulli's victory speech.
Tonight, Queenslanders have voted for hope over fear. They have voted for a fresh start and they have voted for a majority LNP government.
Now, even though the LNP's majority wasn't guaranteed last night, it was pretty clear that Labor had lost and it would be basically impossible to form any kind of minority government. But Premier Stephen Miles, now Opposition Leader Stephen Miles, he didn't concede or congratulate David Crisafulli during his speech last night. He called him up this morning to concede defeat, but this is his defence of why he acted the way he did last night.
When I saw what the tally was first thing this morning, on waking up first thing this morning, it was clear to me that we had been defeated and that the LNP had a majority. At the point in time that I spoke last night, it looked likely that they were going to fall short of that majority. You're right, if I'd waited another hour, the results probably would have been clearer, but there was no malice in that process.
I think it's just graceless. I mean, he knew he wasn't going to win. He should have just accepted the defeat and said it last night. I don't know what he thought he was playing at, Sam. Did he think somehow he was going to be able to clench a minority government of some description?
Look, I don't know, but with respect, I think you're too far into the weeds. You know, whether or not he should have conceded last night or conceded this morning, I think it's the minutiae that'll largely be forgotten in a couple of days. Look, at the end of the day, the LNP won and they should be congratulated and good job. I see that he's now the opposition leader. With respect, I think that's a mistake. I think he should go to the backbench at the very least and consider his future there. But the electorate has had the question asked and answered between whom they want as Premier, and it wasn't him. You know, I understand he wasn't Premier for very long. He was only there for, 12 to 18 months or something. That said, he had been Deputy Premier for a long time. He had been the Health Minister during the COVID pandemic. I think he needs to go, but in going, I think he should be lauded as a Labor hero in the same way that Jay Weatherill or Brumby in Victoria were. And I think he's set Labor up to win in 4 years' time should they keep their team together and united and refreshed. But all of that's ahead of them. They can do that. He has done a brilliant job, especially where we were thinking, 2 months ago, it was going to be a wipeout of, Tarago proportions. But
this is sort of what I'm talking about when you mentioned that he should go to the backbench. Joe, I think it goes to his arrogance that, A, he couldn't concede last night, and now he still wants to remain opposition leader. Now, I know he might feel like he has unfinished business. He hasn't been Premier for even a year yet, so he perhaps wants to carry on. But when you lead the party to defeat, generally what you do is go to the backbench.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, he might think this or that, or not. He might think that he didn't get a long enough run as Premier, and he might think that he can come back and win in 4 years' time. It doesn't matter what he thinks. It matters what's best for the party. And clearly, as Sam said, the people have spoken. He's been booted from government, and clearly he comes with a huge amount of baggage throughout the COVID era that everyone just wants to put behind them. And clearly some of his actions as Premier as well have been seen as a little bit crazy, nationalising servos or whatever it might be. So if the party is going to have a good chance of getting back into government after one term, the best chance it has of doing that is if there's a fresh start, if there's a reset, if there's a fresh face that doesn't carry any baggage, like a Cameron Dick or a Shannon Fentiman. And he, for reasons I can only assume of just personal vanity, has put his interests ahead of the party's. No one with any judgment would say that this is what he's doing in the best interest. And I suspect he's doing it for the same reason that Jeremy Corbyn stayed along as long as he did, which is because he knows under the new rules, if the leadership goes to a rank and file vote, which crazily it has to now if anyone contests, the leftist members will end up deciding who is the leader, even if that leader is unelectable to a broader less politicised electorate. And so you get what you call the Corbyn paradox, where the person who can win an election is incapable of winning the Labor leadership. Stephen Miles did run a great campaign. That is about as good as his legacy, I think, can get, and he should do the right thing and step aside now.